The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
Hello everyone, hi, it's Mita. In the honor of having Sun, Mars, Mercury, Lilith all in the Scorpio sign, I would like to talk about some investigations that I've been making and I've been doing over the years, and I will be releasing some of these findings, investigative findings, as the time goes, because this is the high period now of revealing things that have been hidden, and some investigative reports or results, and Sun brings light where it sits, and I am highly in tuned to the transit. So in the honor of the Sun having moved into Scorpio, let's see what happened to Tamla Horsford per Astrology. Tamla Horsford was born on the 10th of October 1978, and she passed on the 4th of November 2018. She was attending a slumber party with other soccer moms, and it is said that there were also 3 men that were in the building. And so she was the only African American or only Kokoya woman in the place or in the party. And so there have been many talks about how the case was treated due to her race, due to her being different from everybody who was there. Now, looking at the stars, when she was on this day, there were a lot of things that were happening, and these are revealing to what would have taken place, and everything is alleged. It is speculation. I am using only astrology here, and therefore it should be taken as that from the get-go until the end of the video. Now, on the day that Tamla Horsford passed, she was having her natal Venus, natal Mars, Uranus, Mercury, which are in Libra. I am using sidereal, and they were conjunct with the transiting Sun and transiting Venus. And as I have stated before and reported before, according to my research that I've been doing over the years, because I've been doing a lot of investigations relating to death using astrology, and I have revealed that Sun and Mars together, one either transiting, they do come and take somebody's life. And so it was the case here as well. The natal Mars was conjunct with the transiting Sun. Now, because there's also the transiting Venus here and the Uranus, I must decode what each planet represents so as to paint the picture of the people who were present in that house. Mercury is representing friends. This is friendship. These are friends. These are also can be youthful people, and we do understand that Mercury can also reveal or refer to flirtation referred to playing or playful actions, as we do know that on the day or on the night, because she arrived around 10 p.m. they were indeed playing some games. And there was also Mars, of course. Mars represents male figures. It does represent murder. It does represent dangerous things, danger itself, blunt forces, cutting. It can also represent brotherhood, whereby people are loyal together or loyal to each other in their action. It is an action, passion as well. Now, when it comes to Uranus, we are talking about sudden movements, sudden actions, things that are happening without planning, that are happening without anticipation. Uranus can also be like lightning, sharp attacks. And with Venus here, we do know that Venus represents females. It represents women. It represents love, relationships, union. And now Sun, because that was also the transiting planet in the Libra sign, it represents government bodies or administration. It represents status, power. And now the Libra sign itself, it represents the public, union, partnerships, grace, diplomacy, business, social events, socializing, and so on. I'm going to focus on that mostly. But also, I want to draw your attention to the Leo sign, because in the Leo sign we do have her Saturn, natal Saturn in Leo. It becomes very important here because Leo is ruled by Sun, and the transiting Sun was in Libra, where Saturn gets exalted naturally. However, it becomes astrologically intriguing or interesting, as I have revealed in my prior research reports, that Saturn in times of passing becomes very important. It becomes a huge player in allowing people to get out of their bodies into the other side. And so here, Saturn with its third aspect, it is tightly talking to that conjunction happening in the Libra sign with those transits as well. We do know that the third aspect gives us the results of what we're doing. It is also ruling the hand, things that are done by hand, things that are done per effort, self-effort, but also very karmic when it comes to Saturn, because we do know that Saturn represents karma. It represents justice, balancing things out, but it also represents that death itself, because it rules. It is the character or the significator of the 8th house. And so we do know that it rules everything that is done in secret, such as things that are done in the 8th house, things that are underground, that are hidden. That is the character of this planet when it comes to roles like this. Now, having Saturn in Leo and its dispositor Sun transiting in the Libra sign, third from Saturn, it becomes even more critically intriguing in terms of the transits. Now, we must also understand that the transiting moon was in Virgo, and as I have revealed in the past in my prior research reports, that moon being conjunct with either Pluto or Uranus also enables our souls to leave our bodies, because moon is representing the mind, the mindset, the essence of our emotions and our responses, the comforts of our surroundings, and the motherhood itself, parenting. And we can see here that moon in Virgo will represent problems and obstacles around mothering your kids, or access to being able to do that. So these obstacles, they are intensified because they are with Pluto. We do know that Pluto is the significator of death and rebirth. It is also about things that are hidden, power plays, but also about explosions, secrets, conjunct with the Rahu and Sun. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is incredibly important that we look at the transiting Mars as well, because Mars is responsible for violence. The transiting Mars was very heightened in terms of its power, exalted in Capricorn. It was conjunct with the transiting Lilith, and of course, finally, the transiting Ketu. As I have noted in my prior research discoveries, Ketu aspecting the natal moon, or vice versa as well, represents the loss of your awareness. And having her natal moon conjunct with Mars, with the transiting Mars, which represents violence, and Ketu, transiting Ketu, which represents separation, distancing us from what we know, and Lilith, which represents things that are done in a taboo way, controversial actions, tainted means, it becomes evident that she was indeed murdered. However, everything remains speculative due to the nature of the investigative method, which is astrology. The man that would have murdered her is somebody who has a high status in their community. This person would have been involved or highly relating or highly connected to the government bodies due to both the Capricorn sign where this Mars transiting Mars is, and also where the Sun is transiting in Leo, in the Libra sign, which both indicate high connection to authoritative figure. So this act was done by a male figure according to the transiting planets conjunct to her natal planets, looking at the Mars, Sun, the transiting Mars was also squared to her natal Mars, and of course finally looking at that conjunction of the transiting Sun with the natal Mars. She would have been intoxicated indeed, as the reports have said, because this is highly visible here in the chart. When we talk about Venus, we are also talking about liquid things. And the Venus here is highly activated, both natally and in transit. But it was also including or relating to lust, to love related or intimacy related actions. However, highly indicative of also being aware of things or secrets or secretive motions or actions. There is some knowledge that she knew that if it were to be told to the public due to the Libra sign, others would have been embarrassed, or someone would have been embarrassed. And so due to the knowledge that she had, the attack was sudden because of the Uranus, and it was an attack due to the Mars with Ketu. They act in an attacking manner together, looking at the transit. However, also looking at the Mars here with that Uranus activated through the third aspect of Sun, which both together, Sun and Saturn, Sun, Mars and Saturn, the three create a physical outburst. Moon with Pluto, sudden explosions, again due to knowledge, something that you would have known, Sun being activated in both. So it is also visible here that she would have been cut, or due to the cuts that are mentioned in the report, they were not there because of the fall. They were there before the fall. The chart is highly indicating that she would have been cut because Mars represents cuts. Ketu also represents cut. She would have been cut either purposely or due to the attack. As I said again, intoxication is highly indicated here. Poisonous things would have been given to her. And when we talk about poison, it could also have been simply being alcohol, drugs that maybe she would have consumed prior, or that she would have consumed without her knowledge. But there was definitely poison involved. So it is highly indicative here that due to the lust could have been towards her, or she could have seen other parties being in a controversial love situation, and they suddenly reacted by attacking her to keep the secret. But this chart is highly indicating of somebody who would have been exposed to secretive knowledge, to forbidden knowledge, to knowledge that they were not supposed to have. And this could have been the motive of having suddenly attacking her and then cutting her to frame self-infliction, as it was reported, while at the same time she would have definitely been under intoxications or being intoxicated. She does have a natal Chiron in Aries, which when we talk about Chiron, we are talking about wounding. This is where you will wound most of your life. And without having the birth time, Chiron in Aries is highly indicative of the wound that is experienced physically, because Chiron in Aries is focusing on the outer appearance. And with the transiting Uranus conjunct with this Chiron, it becomes highly evident that she was wounded suddenly. Uranus sudden attacks. The transiting Saturn was with the transiting Pluto, both in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about foreign cultures, foreigners, things that are different from us, and it is trine the natal Saturn. This is important because they are also making the trine with that Chiron and Uranus, again highlighting sudden transformations, because Pluto is also about transformations through foreign environments or foreign people different from us. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, before I close, I must quickly mention the Mercury that was transiting in the Scorpio sign with Jupiter and her natal Neptune, which highly, both Mercury and Jupiter are about information and knowledge. And as I just stated, she was exposed to knowledge that she was not supposed to have. She had access to forbidden knowledge, or she had seen something that she was not supposed to see. And Scorpio is about secrets. And both planets, Jupiter and Mercury, being in the Scorpio sign. Again, that Jupiter, authority, Mercury, friends, with Neptune, things that become confusing or hidden or lies, highly activated through the Scorpio sign on this day. And so, hence, a lot of things were covered or hidden because of the natal Neptune being conjunct with the transiting Mercury and Jupiter, which are information and critical knowledge on this day. When Mercury and Jupiter together are with Neptune, there will be high authoritative evidence of lies or information that is deliberately changed to be confusing. Please subscribe and follow, because I will be releasing more discoveries relating to people who have been murdered, to honor the transiting planets in Scorpio. My name is Mita and you are on the Synastry Expert channel. I thank you. I bid you ciao.